Okay, chat. Who is ready? Who is ready for today's session? Please put your hands up in the air on the chat if you are ready. Please do that because I'm fully ready. I'm ready to roast, I think, how many? Seven websites. In this live, we are going to roast 7 websites. Also, please let me know if you can hear me and stuff like that, because, you know, that is very important. And yeah. Okay, right now I'm looking at the chat on that screen, so it's a little too small, but I think it will be fine. Okay. Seems like everyone is ready. Hey, everyone. Can I make this a little bit bigger? Okay, yeah, I can. Perfect. Much better. Great. Okay, so it seems like, yeah, Red Bull gives me, yeah. Sometimes you have to do some Red Bull. This is one of those times. Okay, you guys can hear me and see me. That is very good. How are you? I'm doing good. Thank you so much. How are you guys doing? On a scale of like 1 to 10. How are you guys doing? 1 or 10? 10 being the best. Hey Nandi, remember us from X? Of course, templater guy, of course. Of course I remember. Nandi, roast my website first. So basically, I have a list of websites I'm gonna roast, so you might be included in that list or might not. So, but, you know, even if you're not getting roasted today, oh God, someone just said -10. Is it real, or you just wanted to say 10? Because if it's -10, then I'm really sorry for you. But yeah, I wanted to say that, yeah, we are going to roast a few sites today. But even if you're not included, you're gonna probably learn a bunch of things from, you know, those other mistakes that we see on other websites, and you can make sure that you don't make them on your website. Some of you guys are saying like 6 and 7. What is up? What is up? What's the problem? It's a great little Sunday, or if maybe it's because tomorrow is Monday. Is it the problem? I don't know. But yeah, some of you guys are saying 10, which is very good. I'm really glad to hear that. Okay, you were just joking. Okay, then it's fine. Can you roast my site? Take one. Again, I have already prepared a few sites I'm going to roast and go through them today. So yeah, your site might not be included on those, but yeah. Emmanuel. Hello, Emmanuel. Emmanuel is also here. He is creating the code components for Freedom University, so everyone should say hello in the chat to Emmanuel because he is the real goat. Okay. I think it's time to start, right? Like we should get going. By the way, before we start, I just want to know, is there anyone here who submitted their website on Twitter under that comment section to be roasted today? Anyone here who has submitted? Hey Nandi, how old are you? I'm 23. Okay, seems like we have one person here who has submitted. That's really cool. No, okay, so if your website is not included, it might be because it's too great, but it can also be because I just couldn't find things to talk about. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's great. Yeah, I forgot to roast your last time you were saying that. Well, yeah, you know, I always get a bunch of sites to roast, like a bunch of submissions, so it's really hard to make sure that like everyone gets roasted. So of course I can just only go through a few of them. Seems like someone else is also 23 years old here in the chat. That is really cool. Love to hear it. Okay. Great. Seems like a few people are here who have submitted the sites, but I think it's time to finally start and get right into the first website that we are going to roast. Let's see. Can you guys see my screen? I think you're going to see my screen now. So this website is created by Emir Saifi. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that name, but something like that, Emir Saifi. And you can see that this is called Humanly, and I think this is a template. So I'm going to just scroll down to see how it looks like roughly. And then I will talk about a few mistakes that I have noticed. As you can see, it's a pretty cool site. Like, it looks pretty great. However, we have a few mistakes on it. So I'm going to scroll to the very top and I'm going to start. Also, let me just see if I have Framer open. Yeah, I have. Because as you know, I'm not only going to roast these websites, of course, but I'm going to also jump into the Framer projects and we're going to fix them here inside of Framer. So it's not going to just be like me talking about these websites that, hey, this is good, this is bad, but also I'm going to fix them. So hopefully that's going to help you guys. Someone's saying it's 12 a.m. here. Holy hell, that's not great. It's actually 10 p.m. here, so it's also late for me. That's why I need the Red Bull. Great. Let's go. So on the hero, what I noticed is that, as you can see, this is a 100 VH hero. However, as we start scrolling down just slightly, we immediately see some of these logos scrolling from the right side of the screen to the left. These are basically just some social proof logos to make sure that when someone lands on this website, they're like, oh, okay, this, I don't know if this is a portfolio or whatever, but yeah, it just gives some social proof to the visitor. They can see that, okay, this is a serious website, this is a serious company because they have worked with a bunch of these guys. So usually what I would do is I would make sure that once you land on this website, you immediately see those logos, right? Because you don't make sure that anyone who jumps on this website can immediately see those logos scrolling from the right side of the screen to the left. So they get that sort of like social proof. So how can we fix this? Let's just jump into Framer and quickly do that. I think the easiest way is to just include the trust bar within the hero. I'm going to just press Command C on my keyboard and paste it within the hero and somehow make sure that it's on the very bottom, because right now it's kind of not really visible. So yeah, because this container in the center is set to fixed height, which is, I don't really know why. I'm going to just set it to fit. And then let's see. Yeah, the problem now is that this is not on the very bottom. So what I'm going to try do is, yeah, I mean, what we can do is we can just simply, I think what we could do is we could just simply set it to absolute positioning. Like that's one option on the trust bar, and we just pin it to the bottom and left and right. So now it's only going to always going to be on the very bottom. So as you can see, as we land on this website, we immediately see those logos scrolling from the right to the left, which is very good. Of course, there are other like layout options and structuring options that we can utilize in order to make sure that we nicely have this on the very bottom, but this is the easiest, just setting it to absolute positioning. However, what we have to realize is that on smaller viewport heights, this might look a little weird, as you can see. But yeah, this is the first thing that I noticed. And right now, let me just quickly fix something, because my streaming software just asked me to verify my identity, and I have to do it really quickly, because if I don't do it, then oh my God, I won't be able to see your comments and stuff. And now it's sending me some verification codes, it seems like. So let me do that really quickly, guys. And then we're going to move on to a bunch of the mistakes. Okay. Is it good? It's good. Thank God. Okay. Now, what's the next mistake? As you can see, if we scroll down here to the testimonials section, we are going to see something here. This is a very beautiful woman here, which is great. However, there is a mistake. There's a mistake on this specific card. So now I'm going to look to the chat and I'm going to ask, what is the mistake? Can anyone notice this subtle little mistake on this card here in the very center? It's a visual sort of mistake. What do you guys think? Or do you guys even notice? Someone is saying there's padding. Where is the padding there? It's not really related to padding. If you're saying that this padding is the mistake here, no, it's not. Like, that's a visual thing. Like, you know, that's a decision that you can make to not run the color to the edges, but it's fine. Okay. Oh, guys, that's really good. That's really good. A bunch of you guys actually know that the problem here is the inner corner radius. Exactly, that's the problem. Because when you have these sort of designs where you have an inner element and that has a corner radius, as well as the outer element, the parent, these corner radiuses have to be matched perfectly. So they line up very nicely. And that doesn't mean that you actually set the same corner radius in both of them. There's a very specific calculation that you have to make in order to make sure that the inner corner radius perfectly lines up with the outer one. Anyone here knows the formula that we have to use? Anyone here in the chat, please drop a comment or whatever, a chat, and let me know what's the formula for that. Anyone knows it? Anyone here knows it? Someone is saying inner radius is outer minus padding. Exactly. The first comment said it correctly. The inner radius is going to be the outer radius minus the padding. So we have to get this corner radius that we have minus this gap that we have here, or padding, and that's going to be the radius there. So let's jump back into the project and let's see if that's actually going to make it better. So I'm going to click within, or kind of try to find this card. I'm going to double click that. Let's see the corner radius on this one. It's 20. Okay. What's the gap here? It's 12. So that basically means that we have to have 8 corner radius on this one right here within. And right now we have 20, which is not great because we have to have 8. So now if we set it to 8, as you can see, it is going to perfectly match the outer radius. Lovely. It looks much better. And it was actually pretty surprising to see this because everywhere else on this website, these radius, corner radius, everywhere it was matched. So you can see it here. I mean, it's kind of dark, not really visible, but this is matched, or at least I think it is matched. Also here on these inner lines within the card. So probably it was just something that the creator overlooked. But you know, it was something that maybe some of you guys did not know. Now, let's move on to the next thing. If we scroll even further, we have this pricing section. And if we scroll a little bit more towards the bottom, look what happens. I'm immediately, like when I'm here, I'm already focusing on the next section, the benefits, like my eyes are already there. And then look what happens. Something here pops out. We also take one-off projects starting from $1,000. What is this? I mean, it is a great thing to have this here, but I just don't really get why it appears when I'm almost past that section. It kind of breaks the flow, in my opinion, because, you know, right now I'm taking a look at the pricing. Okay, I understood the pricing. Now I want to go to the next section, and then I kind of have to go back to see, wait, what this is right here. So I would probably find a way to make this appear a little bit sooner so that we're not, you know, already past that section. I'm going to go within the project to see if there's an easy fix for this. I'm going to just click this little card that animates in. And as you can see, it uses a scroll transform on the right panel. And it seems like it animates itself in when a section comes into view, which is called the one-off. Okay, so this trigger frame is the trigger. Okay, and okay, it's just a line that's literally sitting right here. So it's pretty easy to fix it. All we have to do is so we basically want to animate it in a little sooner. So I assume that we have to move this to the top, right? Like move it up a bit. So I'm going to just start moving it up with my arrow keys. Maybe also launching Keystroke Pro will help you guys to kind of see my shortcuts that I'm pressing throughout this little session here. So I'm going to move it up like this. Maybe here. And then I'm going to go into preview to see when it appears now. Okay, so we're here. And yeah, I think this is much better. Like we're still on the pricing. We start scrolling a little towards the top and we see that, okay, we also take one-off projects. And we're still kind of on the pricing page or pricing section, and we're not focusing on the next section just yet. So I think this is a little bit more effective in this case. Lovely. Okay. Let's see what else do we have here. Now, okay, so it seems like we have some other issues. So if you scroll down to the bottom, I'm gonna just zoom in on this FAQ section, and I'll start clicking these, and I want you guys to again drop your opinions. What is the mistake here? I'm just clicking these accordions. Do you guys notice anything weird? And if you notice, what is it and why that could be happening? Someone said, yeah, I think it could be placed a little higher up, probably regarding the previous pricing section. Yeah, definitely you can play around with it and stuff like that to, you know, fine tune the positioning and when it comes in. But yeah, that's the fine tuning part. Someone says layout jump preventer for this section. Actually, as you can see, the section that's below perfectly animates when I open the accordion, so that's not a problem. He probably uses the layout jump preventer component, so it is something different. Okay, so someone, yeah, people are noticing. Yeah. Okay, that's very cool. That's very nice. People are saying that the text is glitching, and yeah, that is very much the case. As I'm clicking these accordions, if you notice, or if you like pay attention to these text layers that we have within the accordions, they're glitching a little bit when we close it. Like I open it, the text is pretty like large and stuff, but as I click it, before it goes back to the closed state, it gets a little bit smaller. Anyone knows why this is happening? Yeah, also someone saying text size jumps from closed variant to open variant. Exactly. It's actually jumping from the open variant to the closed, but yeah. But why? Like, what's the issue? Like, what was the mistake the creator made? Someone says first it hugs, then it fills the container. It could be the case. And probably that's also something that happens here, but that's not the only problem. Anyone knows what was the mistake. And I always say this in tutorials, that pay attention to this when working with components and variants, because if you're not paying attention to that specific thing, it can lead to issues like this. What's that mistake? The text should be filled. No, not really. He added the text directly. Yeah, different font. Someone's saying different font. Yeah, but why is the text size is different? Why is the, I don't know, positioning is different, or the width is different, or, you know, why any of those elements or properties are different on these two variants? What was the mistake that this creator made? Yeah, okay, so it seems like, yeah, you guys are getting the issue, but not really why it's happening. So let me just quickly show this. So when we go into an accordion component or any sort of component inside a framer, let me just switch to light mode. We see this. So, you know, we start creating a bunch of these variants: desktop, desktop open, phone, phone open. And what usually causes these issues is that, you know, we usually start designing on the desktop version where we don't really see the text as, like, it's not really visible because it's hidden, the answer. And then we design the open version, and then we're like, oh, the text is too large or too small, and we just go ahead and change the text here on this variant. And that's the problem, because that creates an override. And I think that is the case here, but we have to confirm. So I'm going to go to the primary. I'm going to select the answer text, and I'll check the properties on the right panel. As you can see on the right panel, if I take a look, it's 14 pixels. You know, it has a specific color, it's set to width fill and stuff like that. And then if we take a look at the desktop open, let's select the text. As you can see now here, it is actually being assigned a text style, which is called the body S. And if you take a look at the size of that text style, it is actually 16 pixels. So if you remember, here on desktop, the primary variant, it was 14 pixels. And here we have a text style assigned to the element, which is larger, 16 pixels. And again, why did this happen? Because someone who created this just went here to the desktop open when he wanted to, you know, change the text size, and he just simply changed it here. And that was the problem. Whenever you want to create or make a change to your component, and that basically is a change that should be applied to all of your variants, such as a text change, because this is not something that you want to animate. You want to make sure that you make that change on the primary. And it can be a little bit hard to like kind of memorize this and be like, oh, okay, I want to change this. Let's go to the primary, because you're not even seeing that text layer on the primary, but you have to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go select the text layer here on the desktop open. I'm going to reset overrides. And now you can see that it immediately jumped to the version that it has on the primary. I think I'm going to also do it on the hover state, but I think it's not overridden. Yeah, it's not overridden here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the primary, and then select the answer text here. And now I'm going to apply the body as here. And you're going to see that it updated everywhere in desktop open and probably in these cases as well. So now if we go back into the preview and scroll down, you're going to see that basically the glitching will be fully gone. Yeah, as you can see, the text size no longer changes, which is pretty good. However, as I'm clicking here, something is off. Something is still off. And this is something that you guys probably won't notice because it's such a small thing. But I'll just leave it here and let's see if anyone notices it. Currently, something is off because I was clicking the accordions. It's such a small thing, by the way, but maybe someone notices. Yeah, by the way, someone is reacting to the fix that, oh, the change should have been applied to the primary and not the secondary. Exactly. Always, if you want to make a change that should be applied to all variants, always make it on the primary, because if you do it on another variant, your design is going to be messed up completely. Okay, so you guys are making guesses again, but no, none of that thing. Someone says position change, text loves to the right, probably moves to the right, but no, it doesn't move. Opening more than one FAQ, no. It's a very, very simple thing. Look at this. Look at this, right? Oh, actually, I cannot zoom inside a framework. But look at this. Focus on this image, because I was clicking these accordions, and what happened to this image? It got a little bit darker. Please keep looking at the image, because now I'm gonna click here, bum. And now the image looks different. Why? Because the image got selected. It's crazy, right? Like, I'm clicking on these accordions, look, and for some reason, this image gets selected. It gets highlighted, like you see how it gets like a little gray overlay appears over it. It's not really nice, right? So what's the solution? What is the solution that we have to implement here? What is the solution? Anyone knows? To make sure that when I'm clicking these accordions, that little image is not getting selected, because it's weird. Like, you know, a visitor might be clicking around to see these little FAQs, and what they notice is that this image gets selected. It's just weird. Yeah, exactly. User select. Templater guy said it correctly. User select should be set to none. None. So I'm gonna go. Actually, I'm already in the frame project. So I'm gonna go find this bad little image frame, and on the right panel, I'm gonna go to styles, click the plus button, and then go down to user select and click that. It will immediately add the user select set to none property, and that's basically the fix. So if I now go into the preview and start clicking around these accordions, it will be great. It will no longer be selected, as you can see. However, now what I notice is that the thing that gets selected is this right here, this Gmail icon, which probably is an image or something. So it seems like that it also needs a user select set to none. But, you know, any of these, like usually on an image, you wouldn't set user select none because, like, why? In this case, you kind of have to, because for some reason it like gets selected. But these like buttons should always have user select none, because you might want to click it and then selecting the text within the interactive element is not really pleasant. So this should have already been set to user select none. So I'm not going to do that. We talked enough about user select none. And I think that's it. That's it about this first website. We spent quite a bit of time on this one, but hopefully, yeah, someone already said move on to another one. Yeah, we are going to do that because we still have 6 websites to go through. So let's see if we have something here. Okay, there we go. Next website. This one is created by Alberto Horbacci. I'm not too sure if that's the right way to pronounce again, but Alberto, I'm pretty sure about Alberto. So yeah, very good work, Alberto. Very nice website called Lumira, by the way. Lumira AI might be an actual template. I have no idea. But yeah, it has a few mistakes. Not too many though. So yeah. And actually, it is a mistake that we can immediately notice here when we land on this website. So I kind of want to know if there's anyone who notices the issue. Like we literally land on this website and there is the problem literally staring at us. What is it? What's the problem? I can help. It is actually related to the navigation bar. It is related to the navigation bar. It's a very subtle little thing. Anyone has an idea? No, the play button is fine. The play button is fine. It's not really that. Again, it's related to the navigation. And templater guy, it seems like we have a real expert here in the chat. Templater guy knows all the mistakes. He probably already watched all of my tutorials. Everyone else should also probably do that because all of them are free and you can learn a bunch of things. Yeah, it's the navigation. It's not centered. Like, can you guys notice that when I, for example, line this up or just scroll this a little bit towards the top, this one is centered here, this element, that's pretty sure. And as I move this up, you can see that these are a little bit off center to the left. That's really weird. Like, why would you do that, right? That's not really nice. This should be centered within the screen, probably. Someone is asking how to submit the website, probably for this roast session. Follow me on Twitter @LearnFramer. I usually post when I'm about to do these roast sessions, and yeah, you can have a chance to get roasted that way. Now let's move on to this project actually and see how we can center the navigation, because now it's not really centered. So I'm going to go within, select it right here, and I am going to just see what he did. So it seems like we have 3 items within the content frame inside of the navigation, the logo plus menu, as it should be. Probably this is also created according to one of my tutorials, which is really great to see. Properly structured navigation, very nice. Links in the center, and then buttons on the right, the CTA on the right, lovely. However, what happens is that the content is a stack which is set to, space between distribute, which is not really good because yeah, if you just simply set it to space between, you cannot guarantee that the center element will be perfectly centered. Like you can guarantee that the left item will be on the left of the stack and the last item will be on the right of the stack. However, the center item will just be somewhere. and not really centered. So here's the fix. You have to select the logo plus menu, set it to width fill. Then, to make sure that the logo actually jumps to the left side, set distribute to start. Then the buttons should actually also be set to width fill. And then distribute should be set to end so that the actual button is on the right side of this stack. Now, with these changes, we have perfectly centered those navigation items. So if we go back and take a quick look, as you can see, these text layers are now perfectly centered. You can see they are like nicely in line with the rest of the content here inside of the hero section, which is much better, much nicer. We love it. Absolutely great. So yeah, that was one of the issues. And by the way, I just want to mention that towards the end of this session, when we roasted all the sites, I'll do a little Q&A so you guys can ask. Maybe if you have a website and you have some issues with it or whatever, you can just, drop a question and I'll make sure to do my best to help you guys out. But I'll do it at the end of the stream. So what else do we have here? What else? If we scroll down to the FAQ, okay. So as you can see, when we click these FAQ sections, I know that I already talked about this a bunch of times, that you have to add the layout jump preventer to your FAQ sections. I already know that I talked a bunch about user select have to be set to none on these coordinates, because people are clicking this and they're going to be accidentally selecting the textures. But still you can see that people make these mistakes. How many times I have to create videos about these guys? It's crazy. But again, I'll tell it again. Hopefully it will help some people. If we go down to this section, first thing that you have to do is you go within your accordion and you select all the text layers within, and you ruthlessly set them to user select none. That's the first thing. So people will not be selecting text accidentally when they are clicking on these accordions. Second thing, you go actually back to the accordion, because this is something that animates the height and it will basically push other elements away on your website. You can see this section on the bottom is actually getting pushed away, but it's instant, like it's not a nice animation. And I want it to be nice. I want it to be pleasant. So what do? I open the Framer University website. Very important. This actually, guys, should be bookmarked for everyone, because I'm adding new resources every single day, almost. But yeah, everything is here. Like the other day, actually, it was today or yesterday, I don't remember, but I got an email that, hey, Nandi, here are 3 websites, how to recreate these. And one of them wasn't really possible. It was really it was crazy. It was like a video game. And 2 of the websites were actually created in Framer, and both of them used resources from Framer University, right? If this guy who asked me knew all the resources that I posted here, he could have just recreated them really easily. So it's really important to religiously study all these resources and be up to date with them, because these are gems. These are just crazy, and all of them are free and you can use them. So yeah, if you have a question that, hey, is this possible? It's probably something that I already published here, and you can literally remix the file and see how it's built. So make sure to take a look into these resources here. But what we're here for is the layout jump preventer. So I'm going to find it and simply click the copy component. Then I'm going to go back and find again the component that causes the layout jump, right? Like the component that animates the height. So I'm going to press Command and V on my keyboard. And now, as you can see, the layout jump preventer is an element that appeared here on our primary variant. However, it's positioned within the row, which is not needed, we can just place it below the variant one. So it's, yeah, it's just simply there. But you can see that it kind of pushes elements away as I'm moving it to the top and to the bottom with my arrow keys. This can be fixed by just setting this element or this component to absolute positioning on the top right. So it's literally just going to be an invisible component on your page that just fixes this layout jump problem. And then you set the direction on the right side to vertical because that's the layout jump that we want to fix. And that's it. That's basically it. Now if I go back, scroll down on the website, which I cannot do for some reason. Okay, now I can. Scroll down and look at how smoothly this one moves away. Now it's not getting pushed away instantly, but rather it's a nice animation, which is absolutely gorgeous. Love it. So that's why it's really important to use the layout jump preventer. Okay. Lovely. So time to move on to the next website, which is going to be by Fabian Arbor, the Their Gallery. Okay. Any mods here? Are links allowed? No moderators are on the chat. I don't have any moderators because I don't do streams usually. And you cannot, I don't think that, I don't know. I didn't see any settings that are related to links, so I don't know if you can send them. Okay. I'm just seeing if there are any comments that or chat messages I want to react to. But yeah, maybe just to look at the website, where.gallery. So, first thing I notice is that this navigation bar here on the very top is a little bit cramped, like everything is just a little too close, isn't it? Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just a visual direction that I would not choose. I don't know. We'll just see if it's better if I space it out a little bit more. So I'm going to set the padding, or sorry, the gap actually. Huh. There's a little different style here. Interesting. Okay, I'm increasing the gap. Nothing really changes. I have to increase it here. Still nothing really changes. So I'm going to undo. Okay, I actually don't have to undo. Yeah, so I would probably just space them out a little bit more, as you can see. Just space it out here and space it out here on these as well. Just a little bit more breathing room. But this might not be the perfect setting that you see currently. But yeah, I just wanted to show that this is what I would do. Also, what's bothering me a little bit is that I have 10 padding on the top and 17 on the right side of the bottom, which is not nice. If I have 10 on the top, I want to have 10 on the right of this bottom, because again, it's not lining up. Like this gap here, which started as 10, gets a little fatter on the right, which is weird. So I just set 10 on the right and you immediately see that, wow, this is a premium design, isn't it? Someone says, Nandi, you need a white monster, not a Red Bull. I've never drank white monster. Is it good? I usually don't drink energy drinks, honestly, and I usually only drink Red Bull. But yeah, so back to the navigation. So this is what I would do. Now I probably messed up the design because of the gap changes. I don't know, but I'll just, this is weird. Because on the website, why is it? Okay, so on the website it has a different color. It has gray color, and now here it is not gray. So I don't know what is happening here. or whatever. So I'm gonna show the next mistake, or you know, these mistakes that I'm showing, by the way, on this website. These are pretty little, pretty small. Rest of the site, or the whole website is pretty sick, isn't it? Like, it's clean, nice, it's lovely. It is actually lovely. However, one thing, as I scroll down and this navigation goes from the open state to the closed state, there is a little problem. And it's very subtle. The transition on this animation is actually bouncy. Bouncy means that it will overshoot the animation and then it will go back to the default state. So the problem here, because of that, it overshoots the width change, and it will get a little bit smaller than it will be actually at the very end. And because of that, it clips the logo just slightly. Now, that is something that you might not notice just by looking at this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screen record this, and hopefully nothing will break. I don't know if it's legal to screen record when doing a live stream. This is the first time. Hopefully everything will be fine. And it seems like we're still live, so that's really good. So I'm gonna just make this screen recording a little bit larger so we can see very clearly. So I'm gonna play it really slowly. Look, look, look. On the right side of the logo will get clipped. You see? And you see, it's such a small thing, like, I know, but you know, these small things will make fixing these small issues will make your site, 10 times better than other websites. Like, you have to pay attention to these small details, because that's how people are going to know, okay, yeah, you know what you're doing. So yeah, you can see the clipping here. This is it. How do we fix it, you might ask? Well, we have two options. First option is selecting this navigation, and then the transition could be... Okay, yeah, we have to actually select the variant here, because this is where the transition is bouncy. It seems like it's not bouncy here. So on this variant, as you can see, bounce is 2. Super simple change. Bounce set to 0 will basically remove this problem entirely. There won't be any clipping. But if you want to keep the bounciness because you're in sort of like a bouncy mood, you can do that too. However, when it comes to bounciness, you have to find another way to make sure that it's not clipping. And that will probably be an overflow change somewhere within this component. So I'm gonna see if... that is very weird. I don't know where it is clipping. Okay, it seems like that this stack is set to overflow hidden. I'm gonna set it to overflow visible, and probably that would fix the problem. I would probably set all of these overflows to visible to make sure that none of these are making it clip. And that's it. That's basically it. Now I cannot really, I don't know if I can show it to you, because why the background is this gray? It was white on the original site. Okay. I'm gonna screen record it again so you can see that it is indeed fixed. Boom, boom. Check the screen rack. Bum. I said bum. Let's make it larger and look at that. There is no clipping whatsoever on this logo, which is something I really like. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Time to move on, time to move on. Because that was it for this website, literally. It was pretty good. Fabian did an amazing job. Let's see the chat, 53 minutes. We've been live for 53 minutes. There's no way. That's a long time. And we still, oh my God, we still have a bunch to go through. It's gonna be a long one, it seems like. Everyone subscribe if you aren't already. Wow, future of nostalgia. That is very true. If you guys enjoy the stream or if you learned something, make sure to like it. It is really very important because it, sort of signals to the algorithm that this stream is great and more people will see it. So make sure to sub and like. Very important. Okay. Wait, what are you using for recording that specific part of the screen? Is it only on Mac? Unfortunately, it is. It's just the native screen recorder on Mac. I have to press Shift, Command 5 on my keyboard, which brings up this like highlighter tool or area selection tool. I can drag it over anything, and I can easily screenshot or record any part of my screen. So if you have the opportunity to buy a Mac, should be your #1 priority. So Nandi, do you only use Framer or Webflow too? I have never used Webflow. I wanted to learn it before Framer, but I was like, there is no way that I'm gonna learn that tool. Like, I started watching tutorials, but I was like, bro, at that time there was a tool around called TypeDream. I think it was TypeDream, maybe it's still around. I used that to build a website instead of learning Webflow because it looked too complicated. Then Framer came along and you see where we are today. Lovely. Okay, let's move on. Steven. Next website is created by the one and only Steven. Seems like he's a creative designer with 4 years of experience crafting clean, thoughtful, and interactive UI with intuitive experiences that move with purpose. Lovely words. Lovely words. I usually roast the technical implementation or maybe some of the design of these websites, but here let me tell a few other things that I notice. And actually, I have not noted this down, but now I'm reading this, I'm like, what the hell? Because, when it comes to like a portfolio, like just imagine that I want to hire you. I land on your website and what I see is text. Who cares? No one. No one cares about the text. No one cares about the fact that you're a creative designer. Maybe people care about that, but with 4 years of experience, like thoughtful, interactive UI with intuitive experience that move with purpose, show me. Show the work. I want to see it. I don't want to read about it. I want to see it in a large size, on the screen. That's what I want to see. 70% of the hero section should be your work. Like, just go to endless.design. Look at this. Look what we see. A little bit of text on the left if you want to read about the company, the fact that they are like design partners for AI and Web3 and ambitious startups, but that's the fluff. Most people will not really read that. They will first take a quick look at this right side of the screen, which is arguably around 60 to 70% of the screen. And it is the great work that they do. They're not like, we create amazing experiences and intuitive and passionate and we're like, all of these buzzwords, but they're literally showing the work. So when I see this, I'm like, holy hell, this is great. And I want to work with them right freaking now. And then I move my, eyes to the left and they are, 20 years of experience, blah, blah, blah. I want to book the call immediately. I want to book the call right now because it's literally perfect. You see, they're doing very good work. So this is what you want to do. You don't want to like have a hero section on your portfolio that doesn't show any freaking work. Like, why would I click hire me? I don't see what you are capable of. And only if I scroll down, I see some of your work. But I'm not even gonna reach that part. Okay? So that was just a little side note here, okay? Just a little side note. Lovely, okay. Let's move on to the actual thing that I wanted to talk about. If I go to the top right and click menu, it opens down. But what I don't really know or understand is that, first of all, why can I still scroll on the website? And why do I see the website? Why is there a space on the bottom where I can see the website in the background and I can scroll? When the navigation is open, I don't want to scroll because I might scroll accidentally, you know? I don't want to scroll. And I also like it's, when you do something like this, when you just leave a little space on the bottom, it feels like a mistake. Maybe it was intentional, but like, if it, like, what would feel intentional is if you fit the black part to the content within the menu. Then I would say, okay, you wanted to create like a fit behavior for the menu so it doesn't open down the full site, but it fits the content. But here you already went a little, not little actually, way further than the content. So why not go the full height then? Why not go the full height? So this is what we have to take a look into. And then a little bit of problem. When we start opening and closing this navigation, the items that are appearing look a bit glitchy. They're a little bit weird, isn't it? Like, it seems like when I open it down, they're already there. Actually, it's hard to say without slowing it down. So we can take a quick screen recording to see what the hell is going on. Okay, so let me do that and play it back slowly. Okay, let's see. Look. I open it down and we already see the home, gallery, and know me, but then they disappear and then they appear again. That's really weird. That's really weird, and that makes it look a bit glitchy. Now, I'm not too sure how to fix these problems. I'll have to jump into the Framer project and see if there are any things that I can fix. Okay, let's go into the navigation. So first, easiest fix is making sure that the open state of the navigation, as you can see here, is just a simple variant. It's not fixed height. That is not gonna work. Fixed is never. Sometimes it's the way, but not really, you know. Like all screens are different sizes. Like, you cannot just say that your size is gonna be 1200 pixels. Because on some screens, it's gonna fill up the entire screen. On some, they're not. So, or it's not gonna, you know, fill up the screen on some screens. So what we do instead is we apply fit content, so it fits the content, and then we add min height 100 VH. That way, it will always fill up the entire website. Let's see. Open that menu, and as you can see, it perfectly. What the hell? What is this? Oh my god, did I make did I do this? Oh, wait, I know what. Okay. So okay, so the problem is that I made a change here on the open, but I thought that this is not the primary, but it was the primary. So when I added min 100 VH, it was actually applied everywhere, which is not great. So I'm gonna remove it from the closed state and from the phone closed state as well. Okay, so now we fixed it. That was very surprising to see. So, okay, now it's gonna be fine. Lovely, okay. So now as you can see, it opens down And yeah, it will always fill up the entirety of the screen. So that's much better. Now, these menu items are still like acting super weird when we open and close. So see what the hell is going on over there. I'm gonna go and see what's up. So as you can see, these are animated with appear of what? What? Scroll animation? That's interesting. Why would you do scroll animation? Why would you, why not appear? Maybe that's a technique I'm not aware of. Honestly, if it works, but it doesn't. So maybe don't do it. Maybe don't do it. What I usually do when I want to like animate these bad boys is I honestly just move them with absolute positioning, or, you know, like move them with not an effect, but actually change the position on one variant and on the other. In this case, now they're already animated with effect, so here's the easiest fix for this. I think we can just simply find these layers and literally set them to visible no. Visible no. Visible no. I don't know if these actually have any effects. Probably not. Okay, then we don't have to. Oh, here. Okay, visible no. This also have an effect. Every single layer that has an effect will be set to visible no. And then I'm going to go back to the variants where I want to see them and make sure that the visibility is yes, but it seems like it's yes. Also in the phone closed, I'm going to go ahead and select them. You probably cannot see it because of my face cam, so let me collapse some of the layers. Boom, boom, boom. Set it to visible no. And let's see if this fixes the problem. Because again, I think this is the quickest fix if we want to keep using this. And look at it. It works. It actually works. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to record the screen just to prove that this was a fix. The reason why it fixes the problem is because visibility set to no and then back to yes re-triggers the effect, and it's the cleanest way to like re-trigger it without any glitching. So as you can see, I open. Indeed, when I close, they are gonna immediately disappear, which is, you know, I don't prefer this. I don't really like it. That's why I usually don't animate with effects. But when I open it down now, it is animating in pretty nicely without any glitching, which is lovely. I love it. Okay, so I actually saw a little comment here. Someone is saying Z index issue, bro. I don't know what was the index issue, bro. Maybe it was some, maybe it was a comment a little bit before. So did you earn any money with that components? Did anyone bought it? What component? Or was it a message to me? I don't know. I don't make money with components. I just give them away for free. Okay, that was okay. Probably you guys are just talking in chat, so I'm gonna just leave you guys talking in the chat. Lovely. Okay, so Stephen, that was the mistake here, and there is another one. We can scroll on the website when this navigation is open. Now let me drop the opacity slightly so we can actually see that. I open it and then look, I can scroll. Now, if someone knows the solution to this and they basically write a comment with the name of the solution, I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna say you're very good, you're very talented, you're an expert. So anyone knows. It's so simple. So I don't even know why they haven't implemented this. When we open the navigation, we don't want to scroll the website. So how do we stop the website from scrolling? What tool do you use for these quick recordings? I'm using the native screen recorder built into the Mac OS system. Shift Command and 5 is pressed down on my keyboard. I get this area tool that I can use to record a screen. Fortunately, only available on the Mac OS system. Someone says scroll equals no. Yeah, I mean, I wish it was that easy. The problem is that not a native feature in Framer. Like, we cannot set scrolling on a website to no when the navigation is opened. We need a special magic. Magic. What magic? Anyone knows? No, it's not pointer events. Someone says, "Hey, can you make an very advanced Framer course, to absolutely master it, including code if you can?" Guys, I will release so many courses this year. It's gonna be crazy. Maybe I'm gonna also have a course similar to that. Guys, this is not using an overlay. The menu is not an overlay, so we cannot use when you use an overlay, you can set a page scroll to no, but this is a component that just animates the height. So what is the solution for stopping the scroll here? There is a solution. No one knows it. Someone says there's a cool component in Framer University if you've heard of it. Yeah, actually, the solution is going to be obviously a component from Framer University, and you're not gonna believe the name is, I think it's called Stop Scroll or something like that. So, but no, it's not pointer events. It's none of these. Someone says, "Yeah, Nandi, we're all clueless." Go ahead. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go ahead then. So the solution is the stop scroll. So you have to go to the resources page again, which is an absolute gold mine, and search for stop. And you're gonna see scroll stopper component Framer. This is a component that you can add to your Framer website to disable scrolling. You might be like, well, you're just, scrolling through Framer University and you came across this resource. You might be like, why the hell would I want to stop scrolling on my website? You probably would say that. Well, in these cases, when you open a navigation on your website, a full-size navigation, you can use the scroll stopper, so there is no scrolling in the background. So, copy component will be clicked. Inside of Framer, we just have to place it within the navigation. It's going to be an absolutely positioned element, an invisible component that just adds the functionality to the website. As you can see, I already pasted it in. I'm going to move it up here to the top of the variant. I'm going to set the position to absolute. And then all I have to think about is when what happened here? Where is the text? Guys, what is happening? Okay. Okay. No idea what happened, but we got the text back, so I can continue this live stream. God, what was that? Okay, so yeah, it's just the invisible component. You set it to absolute positioning, and all you have to do is to think about on which variant you want to stop the scroll. When I see the open variant of this component, I want to stop the scroll. So block scroll of the component will be set to yes on the open, and on close, it is going to be set to no. So I literally override this property on the variants where I do not want to block the scroll, such as the phone closed and desktop closed. Now I'm going to go back and see what is what is up? I opened this, and you might not believe me. Oh, let me just grab my little touchpad. I'm scrolling, and it's not scrolling. It's literally not scrolling. I can close it, and look, it's now scrolling. It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Someone says, you've built really cool free components. Thank you so much, Templater Guy. I'm really glad to hear that. So yeah, as you can see, as I open it, it's no longer scrolling. If I close it, it's scrolling. It's just perfect. It works exactly how we want it to work. And at this point, we can just set the opacity of the navigation back to 1. So it's covering the rest of the website when it's opened. Love it. Love it, love it. What is the next website? Okay, this is going to be a good one. Okay, many people seem to enjoy the component, which is very, very good. Now, let's move on to the next one. This is created by RB. RB. Are you here, RB? Are you here on the chat? RB, RB, RB. RB, RB. This website is created by RB. I'm not joking, guys. RB is not here. God, that's not great. Oh, that's not cool, but whatever. So here's the website, and we are going to navigate to a very specific page on this one. By the way, you probably, when you like scroll to this section of the website, you might be like, wow, like this right here is absolutely gorgeous. Like this scroll animation is amazing, right? Like it looks pretty cool. No, Barbie, guys, frick. How do I cannot comment. It's A-R-B-I, not Barbie. RB. But yeah, you might say, this is really good. This is a really nice animation. And you can actually create stuff like this, Stuff like this, Oh, that was a very nice sentence. But yeah, you can create stuff like this. The way you can do this is by going to the Frame Universe website, the resources section, and search for Teddy. If you search for Teddy, you're going to find a resource that looks like this. An absolutely amazing scroll animation. Love it, right? It's very nice. And you might be like, oh, Nadi, but it doesn't make sense to just blindly copy stuff over from the Frame Universe website to my websites. And yeah, that's right. But that's why I create tutorials for some of these resources. So as you can see, here is a dedicated tutorial for this specific scroll animation, which literally teaches you everything you need to know about Framer scroll animations. So everyone who watched this not only learned how to create, not only learned how to create animation like this inside of Framer, but also learned all the fundamentals that is needed to create such animations. So that's just another point that proves that you have to spend a lot of time in Frame University. Guys, you guys are going crazy, it seems like, on the chat. So let's just move on. I'm going to open Gallery, and here I noticed something extremely weird. As I click one of this, look what happens. It just opens in the center of the screen, and it removes the image where it originally was. Why? Why? And I have a feeling why this could be happening. Because I think the problem here is that a lightbox effect was added to these images, and then the lightbox effect does not have a transition, which is not something that you want to do, because the lightbox is such a great built-in effect. You can literally add it to an image, and when that image is clicked, it will nicely animate from its original position to the center of the screen, and it just looks great. But if you remove the animation, like why would you remove the animation? There's no point in doing that. So let's fix that. How come you have an Indian name? It's not an Indian name. It's a coincidence that you guys also have Nandi in your culture. Yeah, is this the default lightbox effect? It is, but it has the transition removed, which is just I just cannot understand it. So let's see, because you know I'm just assuming these things. Maybe that's not the problem, because actually I have not opened these projects. This is my first time looking at them. I only checked the links right here. So let's see what's up. I'm going to select. Okay, wait. So I'm going to give it then this, and as you can see, the image has a lightbox effect. Ooh. So it basically has the transition applied. Now that is interesting. Now, when this is the case, when you have a lightbox effect applied to an image and the transition is clearly set to 0.4 seconds, then something is off, because it should animate, right? It should animate. Someone says it's short for his full name. Yeah, Nandi is just a short for my full name, which is Nandor. Someone says, why is Framer so difficult? That's a false statement. That's simply not true. Like, as I said, I tried learning Webflow before learning Framer, and I literally gave up because it was too complex. And now look at where I am. I'm playing around in Framer because it's such a simple tool. It's literally the easiest way to build websites because it's like you just have a freeform canvas, you design whatever you want, and then just you have to learn how to make it responsive. And you can do that by just watching all of my tutorials. It's not that big of a deal. You have to just practice a little bit. Literally anyone can do this. So please don't say that it's difficult, because then you're just telling yourself a story that kind of, you're just trying to like explain it to yourself why you're not able to build websites with Framer. But you just have to practice. You just have to give it a few weeks or months, and then you're going to be good at it. So yeah, don't worry. It's literally simple. Someone says Framer is fun to learn, not difficult. Yeah, Framer is easy. Go ahead, guys, tell him, because for some reason, it seems like some people are saying it's difficult. It is not. Are you still roasting website? Yes, I am. And we are currently looking at this lightbox effect, which has time transition set to 0.4. As you can see, this is the transition that we would, need to see. But as I click this, clearly there is no animation whatsoever. Like, it just jumps. And the reason why this happens usually is because some sort of properties added to this image that prevents the animation from playing. So we have to find it. Is it the squircle? I'm going to remove it. Let's see. No, it's not. Okay, I'm going to add it back. Okay, let's see lightbox, padding Z index backdrop. What the hell? Like, what is going on? Why is it not animating? Okay. Is it because of the hover? I don't think so. Should not be. Look at that. A hover effect was added on top of the lightbox, and that caused a little problem. It was jumping. Now, as I remove the hover effect and I go back to the gallery, I think everything will be animating nicely. Huh. That's really good. It seems like, okay. It seems like I just realized that, as I was reviewing this, I was like, wait, why does the image disappear from its original position? It seems like that's the usual way of how, lightboxes work. But now it makes more sense, because I see as it moves from one state to the other, when I was originally like looking at it, it was instant and it was weird that way. But now it makes sense that it's leaving that position. But actually, if you wanted to keep it there, you could. You just duplicate the image, set it depth of positioning, pin it to all sides. And this way you create a duplicate image, and this will be just set to like you can rename it in the left panel to stay, and then the image, the other image that's supposed to go out will be z-indexed a little bit to the top, z-index 2, and then stay will not have lightbox effect. And that way you created lightbox effect where the actual image opens up, but it also keeps itself there at the original position. You might want to do something like this. As you can see, you can. Like that's why I like Framer. Like I have an idea, duplicate, set, and I have it. Like I don't have to write code and look at complex properties and stuff. It's just easy peasy, lemon squeezy, nothing crazy. Nandi is right. It's actually very intuitive. Once you watch Nandi's tutorials, obviously, he makes it super easy and simple to learn. Thank you so much, Alec. You are very right. I mean, I hope that you are right. And I hope that my video is actually up. Someone says, is selling Framer templates worth it in 2026 or in the future? Guys, people are making tens of thousands of dollars selling Framer templates, and you guys are asking in the chat if it's worth it? God, just start already, because others are gonna make all the money, and you're gonna just miss out on the opportunity. So just get started as soon as you can. It's a crazy opportunity. And actually I made a video about this. So if you go to my channel, you're gonna see a thumbnail where I am on the left side of the thumbnail, and on the other side I have a banknote. Click that video. It's titled, if you want to make money with Framer in 2026, watch this video, something like that. Watch that. I explain why it's a crazy opportunity in 2026. Okay, more questions at the end of the stream. So yeah, as you can see, we fixed this little thing, this little gallery section. We had something like this. It was instant. It was weird. I just didn't really understand what's going on. Now we have this. Lovely little something. Oopsie daisy. We noticed another problem because, when you're like clicking these items, you might do this accidentally. Like you click and you also move your cursor slightly and you drag the image. That's not a pleasant experience. How to fix it, you might ask? You just select the image that you added the lightbox effect to, go to the right panel and set set draggable to no, so your image will not be draggable. Flow No Code is here in the chat. Hey Flow No Code, hey, how are you doing, everybody? Yeah, everybody is doing well, I think, hopefully. But yeah, thanks for asking. So now that draggable is set to no, I can no longer drag the image as like I'm trying to drag it, but I cannot. So no unpleasant experiences. Lovely. You might be like, but Nandi, this had the hover effect applied. So now what will I do? Like, can I add the hover effect? I don't know. I actually don't know, because we couldn't have both the lightbox and the hover effect on one element. So what I'm going to try do is apply a hover state to the actual variant where I scale the image up. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to try. Scale it up here. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. What if I like set it to fixed and I make it larger? Oh God, this doesn't look right. There should be a way to do it, right? What if the problem is the fact that we have a lightboxed element and Framer says no, you cannot add any other effects such as transform or hover effects to this element. What if we work around this, or at least try to work around this by wrapping the image in a frame by pressing Command and Enter on our keyboard? So now we have a wrapper, and we might be able to scale this element up instead of the actual element that has the lightbox. Let's try it. Now the lightbox is not even working, guys. It's not even working. It's not even working. It's not even working. I'm going to set the wrapper to pointer events none. And then the image within the pointer events out. And this is the last thing I'm going to try. And then I'm going to move on. I'm going to give up. Auto. Okay. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, guys. It seems like I cannot add. Let's just forget everything. Let's undo everything, and let's just give it up. It seems like we cannot add hover effect and lightbox at the same time. But if you guys have the solution, feel free to share. But it seems like I'm not gonna find it. It's 12:30 a.m. right now. Gonna go back to bed. I'll check in the morning if Andy did mine. Alec, thank you so much for sticking around for so long. I hope you have a great night, and yeah, make sure to watch the live back. Okay, it's time to move on. We fixed this website. We have 2 more left to roast. One of them is called Sasset, which is a very funny website. It combines SaaS, which is software as a service, and asset. It's funny, Sasset. I love it. So, it's actually created by Umar Mirza. And what I notice here is that when I hover over pricing, I see get started. I hover over pricing and I see get started. Like, why? Why would anyone do that? So I think it's just a simple mistake. So we're going to look into fixing this. I'm going to select the secondary button. And probably the problem is that you have 2 text layers within this button. As you can see, get started for 1 and get started for 2. Basically, this way you can move it up on the hover state, and that's how you have this effect. The problem is probably, I'm gonna flex now because I already know what's the problem without looking into the variant. The problem is gonna be one text layer will have the text variable assigned, and the other one will be not. It will be removed, and hopefully that's the issue. So on the secondary, probably first text layer, as you can see, content connected to the variable CTA text, and the other one is not. It's just get started. It has a fixed value of get started, and this causes the problem because you might change the CTA text variable on the instance, on the component instance, but it's only going to change here on the top. And when they hover, it will still say the same thing. So again, now we have changed the variable on the right to view pricing, but it only changed on one text layer, but still the text layer that animates in is simply says get started because it's set to a fixed value. So all we have to do is just select the second text layer under the right panel, click content, and set the same variable CTA text. Now, if we go back to the actual website and hover over the secondary button, we're going to see that it still doesn't work. Probably we have to go to the hover state of the variant and implement the same fix. It's fixed, so it's probably just didn't update. Yeah, it didn't update. So now it works. So as you can see, now both of the text layers says view pricing, which is absolutely great. As you can see, small little fixes that make sure that your site doesn't look silly. How often do you plan to do these streams? That's wonderful. I'm really glad that you're enjoying the stream. If you do, please drop a like on it. But yeah, I'm gonna do these every now and then, maybe every week, every other week. Yeah, there is no schedule as of yet. What else? What else do we have on this website? Let me scroll down here, actually. What I usually don't like when I have like an appear effect, actually, I might just want to record the screen so I can play black slowly. Maybe it was visible. So what I don't like is when we have like an appear effect and it clips. You can see how it clips here on the bottom. So these cars are appearing and emitting in from the bottom, and they're simply just clipping. The same happens here. It's clipping on the bottom. You might want to do this because I know you might like it, but for me it's just weird because now it looks like it doesn't have radius on the bottom. On the top it has radius, and then as it like masks in, it slowly gets the radius. I don't know, I don't like it honestly. So what I usually do is when I have these appear effects, I just make sure that all parent frames that could cause the clipping are set to overflow visible. So with this simple change, now you're going to see as I scroll these into view, they are not clipping anymore. As you can see right here, they're no longer clipping, basically, which is much better, I think. And here is a little question for you all. What is the issue here on the very bottom of the website? It's one of the basic principles of design and yeah, visual stuff on websites. What is wrong here? It's related to the footer. That's all I can say for now. Seems like, oh, I just noticed that the site that I'm roasting right now, the creator of the site is here on the chat. That's lovely. Hey, Umar Mirza, how are you doing? And yeah, he says that it was just a blunder. Yeah, I know, like it happens. It's totally fine. Everyone makes these little mistakes. Sometimes you look at the website for so long that you just miss these things, right? Like it's same with text. If you write a bunch of text and you're just going through it over and over again, you're just not gonna notice the issues. That's why people like go and give this text usually to like friends and family to read it and proofread it, because after a certain while you just know what's written there and you're going to automatically read that even if you have like a typo or something. So it's totally fine. Same with websites. But here on the footer, what's up? What's the problem here? Exactly. Someone already said it. The top one, someone said it who has like a little crown next to the name and it says top one. I don't know why that is, but bro, you are top one. Vlad, you're great. But yeah, he says width of the line. Footer needs to be bigger. No, it doesn't have to be bigger. Actually, it's right now it's bigger and wider and it should not be. Someone says, hey Nandi, love from India. I also love everyone in India. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so the problem is it's too wide. So well, as I scroll down on this website, I see a max width consistently being used here. As you can see, it's contained here to this width, also here on the cards contained to the same width. Even here on this section, everything is contained to this max width, which is absolutely great. Like you're using this throughout the whole website, and at the very end, you have a footer which is much, I mean, not much wider, but it's just slightly bigger than all the other sections on the website, which doesn't make sense to me, to be honest. I think to set max width, someone says to set max width, yeah, you need to set max width, but not only set max width like a random max width, but set a max width that you are setting on all other sections, right? So I'm going to go into the Framer project right now and see if I can fix it. Footer. Maybe I should show my screen so you can actually see what I'm doing. So I open the footer. It is actually within a layout template. So I'm going to take a quick look here, go within the navigation, the footer. It seems like it has a max width. However, I don't know, it's probably not using the same max width as everything else. So this has 1160 and this has 1240. So I'm going to just use the same max width, just replace it. And now what we're going to notice is that we have a perfect website, perfect alignment. As I draw a line here on the left, you can see everything nicely lines up on the left, which is absolutely gorgeous. Someone says that is very good to see. You are so professional that it looks like it's a pre-recorded video that you put on live. Well, it's not, because I'm reacting to all of these comments and stuff. So but I'm glad that I don't know, it looks professional. But mainly I hope that it's helpful and you guys are learning a bunch of things about Framer. Okay, so the creator says, sorry, man, I forgot. It's fine. Again, also, I think Framer should implement a way of creating variables inside of Framer that we can reuse for like a width values, corner radius values, whatever. Just be able to create like, just imagine you create a max width variable, set it to 1160 and be able to reuse that on all of your sections, because then when you change your mind that, oh, I actually want to have smaller max width or actually want to have larger max width, then you can simply go to that, I don't know, number style, or I don't even know what variable should it be called, but you just go to that variable, change it once, and it updates everywhere where you have used it. So now, it was of course hard for you to maintain the same max width value because you have to manually set it in all of your sections. Framer should really create these variables, guys. It would be so great. What do you guys think, by the way? I'm a huge fan of consistency. Like, it's really important to me, and I would just really enjoy something like that implemented in Framer. Umar Mirza says, thank you, Nani, for roasting. My pleasure. My pleasure, man. Thanks for sending it in and trusting me with this. Because, you know, with this, everyone else who watches this could also learn a bunch of things. So thank you so much. Someone says, in Framer CMS, can we use different layouts for individual cards on an index page? Yes, you can. Changing one card updates all cards. How can I create multiple card layouts? Let's see if this site has a CMS. It doesn't. It doesn't have a CMS, so I cannot show it. Does the next one have a CMS? It does have. So on the next one, I'm going to show that. Okay. And guys, this is... okay, so I just switched to this website, and this is not the one that I wanted to roast. So let me do a quick look at my list of sites, because I probably just clicked the wrong one when I prepared all of these. So yeah, just a second, guys, just a second. There it is. This is the one I need. Actually, let me just move it here. Okay. Now we're on the website that I actually wanted to roast for the last one. This is created by Mate ODZN. I don't know. That was the name on Twitter that I saw. So Mate ODZN. I don't know how to pronounce that. And this is a website called Greedy. And it's sort of like a website for very, it seems like for very expensive items, $1,300. I mean, it's not too bad, to be honest, for like this sofa. But yeah, what's the problem here? What did I notice? Well, what I noticed is that when I hover over, fucking hell, sorry guys, I didn't show the actual website. So as you can see, again, it has a bunch of these items. Some of them are a little bit expensive, but then I realized it's not. $1,300 for a sofa that looks so good is actually not that bad. So what I wanted to say here is that when I hover over, it looks a little weird. It looks a little off because when I hover it, I don't know if you can see, probably not on this video, but it just, the transition curve feels off. Like it starts going a little slow and then towards the end it speeds up and it just stops really abruptly. Like it feels like somehow there's double hover on it. That's what I feel like. And then we're gonna see if that's actually the case. But please let me know in the comments, do you guys actually see this or it's just me? Do you guys see this weird effect on this hover state? Like it scales down, but the transition is just, it's just weird. It's laggy. Is Framer University relied to Framer, or like you're independent or on your side? I mean, I'm independent completely. Of course, I work together with Framer on some projects and stuff where we have a great relationship, but yeah, I'm independent. I prefer staying independent. I could not work for a company at this stage. I feel like I'm not really compatible with like people telling me what to do and stuff. So I would just rather stay independent and do whatever I want to do. Okay, so guys, let me know if you guys also see this hover ratio. And now we're going to actually jump into the Framer project and see what's going on. I'm going to go within this component because this is where this card is being defined. And actually the hover state is not added here. No, that is weird. That is very weird. Okay, so it's added here. I can see the hover here. Okay, so the hover state is added on the component instance on the right panel as an effect. There, it's simply being scaled down, so it should work. I mean, it uses the old physics-based spring. Let's see if we set it to type. Is it any better? Actually it is, but that's weird. Like that was the only problem. That was like physics. I mean, yeah, it looks weird, but once you change the transition to time-based, it just looks a little better. But honestly, let me tell you what I would do, because again, when you have a component like a card where you have a hover state that you probably want to reuse on all of your cards, and you want this hover state to be consistent, you want to bake this into the component. Because imagine you decide that the hover state should scale the card down a little bit more, not only to 0.98, but maybe to 0.9, something like that. In this case, now you literally have to go and click into each of these cards, go to the right panel and set the scale to 0.9. And that was not enough, because then I have to go here, select this one as well, go to the right, and actually it's not consistent. It's 0.99 here. But you get the point. You have you have an effect that's being reused multiple times on your website, and it's not baked into a component. You cannot like update it in a way that's easy. It's not going to be easy to maintain the website, essentially. So now we're going to go ahead and see how something like this can be baked into the component. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go within the component. Actually, I'm going to remove the hover state here. So now, as you can see, it's no longer having the hover state. No hover. I'm going to go within. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to wrap everything that's within the variant in a content frame so I can scale that. So I'm going to select all the elements here and wrap them in a stack. And I'm going to set that stack to the same gap value that we originally had on the main variant, which is 10. That's perfect. And then I'm going to just set, actually, I just don't, okay, I think oh, the divider should also be included there. Perfect. And then I'm just going to call this content. Okay. So now what I can do is I can add the hover state here inside of the component and just scale down the content frame. Transform scale 0.99, let's say. Just a very subtle scale down, or maybe 9.8. So now when I hover over, it scales down. Absolutely gorgeous. This is what we need. Love it. So now, even if I don't have, I mean, I don't know if this uses the same, it actually uses the same component. I don't know if it uses the same component. Probably not. Okay, whatever. But yeah, now as you can see, if this component is being reused, it will have the same hover state in all cases, and you don't have to update the effect on the right panel for all individual instances. You just have to go within the main component and update the hover state here. Hope this little tip helps you guys. And now that we're ready, let me just read what we have going on in the chat. Put into a container and fix the hover state. That's exactly what I did. Very nice. Put it into a container. Yeah, many people actually realize what's the solution here, which is very nice. And yeah, this is the point where we are going to move into the Q&A section. I'm going to just be answering a few of the questions that you guys have for a few more minutes. And then I'm going to say goodbye to everyone, and we're going to go to sleep. So we already had a question, and someone was asking how to make CMS pages flexible. How can we make sure that on a CMS detail page, all of the, or some of the cards that you have different layouts, right? Because right now, even if we go within, like, let's say the blog CMS detail page, and, I want to make sure that, let's say this banner is, I don't know what I want to show as an example, but maybe I want to make sure that when the banner is not uploaded in the CMS, because this specific blog doesn't have an image, we don't show the image, because right now if the image is not uploaded, we just see a placeholder which doesn't look great. So what we could do is, what you would probably do is that you just select the banner and you delete it. And you're like, perfect. On this example, on this CMS item, I don't want to have the image because I don't have it uploaded here. But then when you go to the other item, you notice that this change has been implemented on all of your items. None of your blog items have the image now, which is not great. So we have to add it back. What we have to do instead is we have to use conditions. And that's going to be the key for you to build flexible detail pages on your websites. Here's how you do it. You go to the right panel, you just select the image on the left, go to the right panel, go to visible, and then click it, set variable, and you choose which is going to be the field from the CMS that you want to base this condition on, which is, of course, it's going to be the image, featured image, and you say, is a set. What this basically does is it says that we now have a condition on the visible property. If the featured image is set on this CMS item, this element will be visible. If it's not set, it's not going to be visible. So now if I delete the image, as you can the hell, bro? It's why is it? It's not disappearing, bro. What the hell? It's still uploaded here. Okay, seems like it's not. Seems like by removing it here, it doesn't really get removed, which is weird. But yeah, let's just take a quick look again. So if I actually go within here and remove the image, as you can see, it literally removed the image there. And still on the items where I have the featured image set, you have the image. And this is how you create flexible detail pages where they are differ based on what you have set on the item fields. You can just use this for creating, the most flexible detail pages because you said that you want to have different card layouts. We can assume that this image is, let's say, a card that you want to add different layouts to. You can do it really easily. You just wrap it in a frame, you turn that into a component, and you create different variants where you have different layouts. So I don't know what, like right now, I'm just going to make a simple change around the corners. So I'm going to have variant 1 non-rounded and variant 2 rounded. And pay close attention because if you understand this, you're going to literally be a CMS god inside of Framer. Now we have a component for this image that can be set to rounded or non-rounded. We can think about this as two different layout options for a card, let's say. And how can we make sure that when I set this to rounded here, it doesn't change on all items, but only on the item where I want to change it to rounded? Well, we have to create a CMS field in the CMS to be able to change this. So I'm going to go into the CMS, create a field, a new field, which is going to be, let's say, an option, which is either a rounded or non-rounded. I'm going to call it image style, and I'm going to put it below or above the featured image. And here I'm going to set it to rounded, and for the rest, I'm going to set it to non-rounded. So only for one item, we have the rounded set up. Now, if we go back to the detail page, I can go to the variant of this component and again, set up a condition so that when the image style is rounded, we showcase the rounded variant, and when it's non-rounded, we show the non-rounded variant. We can do that by converting this property. And so basically say when rounded, we show rounded. When it's non-rounded, we show non-rounded, and that's basically it. Now, as you can see here on this item, we see the rounded image. But if I take a quick look and preview the other items, it's gonna be non-rounded. And this is the key for flexible detail pages inside of Framer. Now, if you guys have any other questions that you want to ask before ending this beautiful stream, please ask away. This is your chance. And then we're going to go and sleep. Someone says, Nandor, how do you research different cool components to recreate them in Framer? Any tips for this kind of work? I usually just go on the internet, take a quick look at websites, on different websites like awards and stuff that collect some of the finest websites on the internet, and try to look for cool interactions and immediately save them into my Cosmos. Cosmos is basically like Pinterest where you can save stuff. I do that, and I also keep my eyes open when I'm scrolling on Twitter, and not only just blindly doing that, but I'm bookmarking all the all the work that I kind of want to look at a little bit later on, or I already know that that's going to be an effect that I can recreate. So I literally just browse the internet, and I don't just, scroll blindly, but I always have this thought in mind that I need to look for stuff that I can recreate. I need to look for the finest interactions, the finest components or animations that I can bring to the Framer community as, educational material. Can we add code overrides to Framer templates? Is it allowed? I think it's allowed, but you need to take a look at the template requirements. But I wouldn't use overrides because there's just not a great experience to use them. It's like literally code that you can see. I think it's better to use code components because you can make them much more user friendly. You can have properties and code components and stuff, and so I think it's much better to use them. Also, if one of my sections closely matches a section from another template, could my site be rejected because of that? Of course. If your section looks like it's copied from another template, people are not really going to like that. Of course, if you have sort of like a same layout, but all the elements are like differently styled and stuff, that's fine. Like, there are just so many layout options that you can use. So probably you cannot make sure that it's always going to be 100% unique. But if people are like suspicious that that might have been copied, that's probably not a good sign. Nandi, do you know Spline? Is there going to be a Spline Framer tutorial? Yeah, I know Spline, and I already created tutorials on Spline, so make sure to take a look at my channel, scroll back. I've done like a 3D website tutorial using Spline. How do I download the website as a zip? Let me show you. Here's the website as an example. You go to the top, File, and then you go to Save Page As. It's Shift, Command, and S. If you click that, the website is going to be saved into your files. I don't know how to do it on Windows because I don't use Windows, but probably very similar. When Framer Uni is coming, Framer University is already live. I already publish resources every single day, 2 tutorial videos, long form on YouTube every single week, a bunch of educational material. So Framer University is live and it's going. But if you're looking for courses, those are going to be coming this year as well. Someone says my website was not selected for today. Yeah, I got over 50 websites in the comments section under my tweet, so I had to, of course, select a few. I was roasting 7 websites, and this still took like, I don't know, over an hour. So yeah, unfortunately, I cannot roast all of them, but I'll keep doing these. So yeah, just make sure to follow me on Twitter and look for these opportunities. Yeah, now we're currently doing a Q&A. So let me know, you guys, if you have any questions. And also, if you enjoyed this session and you learned something, make sure to drop a like on this stream. And also subscribe if you haven't already. How can I send my website for next roast session? You can just go to Twitter, follow me, Framer University, @LearnFramer on Twitter, and just see when I post about one of these roasting opportunities, and just comment your website under the tweet. Will you allow links for roasting from this stream to the next, or will you create another post? We'll see. Maybe we'll, because I still have a few that I could look at. So maybe we're gonna use the links from this tweet, or maybe I'm gonna do another tweet. I don't know. I don't know yet. In the index page, also same method as you said in detail page. In the index page, yeah. Yeah, same method. Because let me just show you. Yeah, I'm like thinking if it's the same method, but I think so. So for example, on the index page, you can like have a different variant for this card, like rounded, where you create like a rounded image. And you just make sure that you select the item on the right, you select the variant, and you create a condition based on the image style. You just convert it, and when it's rounded, it's rounded. When non-rounded, it's going to be the default. So now, as you can see on the index page, not all cards are the same style, but the component of this card is actually changing based on a field from the CMS. So I hope that makes sense. Thank you, Nandi. I hope you can roast mine next time. Hopefully, Future of Nostalgia, hopefully next time your site will be included. But I still hope that the video was, or the stream was helpful either way. Even though your website wasn't included, hopefully you see, or you saw some of the tips that you can implement on your website, and yeah, make sure that you're not doing the same mistakes. Thank you for sharing all the good knowledge. Continue with your good work. Greetings from Portugal. Thank you so much. I'll keep going and I'll keep sharing tutorials and resources for completely free. Hopefully that will help a bunch of people. Where are you from? Someone asks. I'm from Hungary. Do you have any framework template that you made? I actually made a framework template in 2023, probably. It was a complete disaster. It was a complete failure. I barely even made any money with it. So I just realized that maybe my audience is not looking for framework templates. Maybe they're just looking for tutorials. So I just stopped doing that. But maybe it was actually because that was a bad website. Maybe that was I don't know. Like I can try finding it actually. I don't know what I know. Stellar. It was called Stellar. It was when I think Apple Vision Pro was introduced, and they introduced this like glassy style, and I really liked it, and I wanted to build like a project around it. So I just created this portfolio. But you can see that this wasn't that great. Like I was telling tips in this video that are not really implemented in this website, because this is a portfolio and you're not showing any work when you're on the very top of the site in the hero. So yeah, it's not really great. So I think it's kind of understandable that it didn't do that well. But yeah, as you can see, it's just a cute little portfolio site where you can sell things, showcase your projects, have a blog section. But yeah, again, it wasn't really successful. When are you planning to stream next? I have no idea. Probably next week, maybe. I don't know if you guys want to have streams like this, like more regularly, just let me know and I can do my best to have more of these sessions. Can you make a tutorial or a full video on how to create templates that are approved and stuff? Yes, I think I'm going to make a tutorial on that, because I know that many people are like having issues with creating templates that are actually approved by the framework team and the template reviewer. So I think that's something that I'm going to do in the near future. Someone says, Beatzio asks, Nandi, have you thought about making a Lightbox quick preview carousel tutorial? I don't really know what you mean by that, so maybe just send over an example on Twitter and I can take a quick look. Thank you for what you do. Your components and tutorials are inspiring. Thank you so much, Vlad. I really appreciate it. Okay, I think that's it. Seems like we have answered most of the questions that we have here. Will sites that didn't get covered today may be covered in the next row session. Yeah, maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to post another tweet next time I'm doing something like this to get a new round of websites. Or maybe I'll roast these, the remaining ones, or some of those that are still not roasted from that 50 website batch. Maybe it's going to be in a tutorial video next week or the week after that and not in a live session. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, I have a bunch of websites. Someone asked, I have any websites that inspired me? Of course, I have a bunch, but I don't keep them in my head. There's just so many things that I just cannot like remember all of them. And that's why I literally have everything written down. Like you can literally see I have these notes here. Like when I have an idea, I write it down. If I have a website that I want to save, I save it to Cosmos. If I have I write down everything because otherwise I'm gonna just forget everything. So I usually I cannot really say anything from the top of my head because I'm just not that great at like storing information in my head because there's just so many. Like, how do you do that? So I just write everything down, and all I have to remember is where to look when I'm looking for inspiration. I know that I have to go to a very specific cluster in Cosmos where I'm going to have a bunch of websites saved. I can get all the juice, all the inspiration from there. I don't remember the sites that I saved there. So yeah, I think that's it. It's past midnight here, so it's time to go to bed for me as well. Probably it's pretty late for some of you guys as well, depending on where you're located. So yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next stream. And again, I hope that this was helpful for a bunch of you guys to, see what are some of the mistakes that you guys are making inside the framework. And hopefully you remembered all the things that I was talking about and you took notes to make sure that when you're building your sites, you're not making those mistakes, because, not making these mistakes can really elevate your websites and kind of make them look like, oh, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing, or, just make them a little bit more perfect. I don't know. I think these little details really matter. So yeah, hopefully it was helpful. If you want me to do more of these, make sure to like this stream or drop a comment after I ended the stream so I know that you guys want this. But I think I'll keep doing more of these streams in the future. So yeah, also subscribe to the channel for more content. I'm posting, as you might know, a bunch of framework tutorials and stuff every single week. And also go to the Frame University website and religiously study the resources section, since I have over 500 resources there, and all of them are completely free to use on both commercial and personal projects. So yeah, it's probably a very helpful resource for everyone who's building Framer websites or learning Framer. And again, it's completely free, and I think you can learn a lot by scrolling through these resources every single day. Congrats for using paper and hand script notes. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's quite fun to do it. I actually like it. I actually seen it, like one of my friends did it, and I kind of liked it, and I just started doing this, and it's pretty cool having it like written down manually. But still, many of my ideas that are a bit more like long form are still located on my notes app and stuff like that. Yes, the video will be available as a VOD, so you can watch it back. No worries, Baldy. Do not worry. So yeah, that's it for this one again. Make sure to like it, subscribe for more. I want to